The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello, this is TVWAN News. I'm Jasmine Jack.
And I'm Mary Silla Kilaton. Join me later on in the bulletin for your news in sport.
In this edition, emergency directive issued to Puma, MRA addresses declining expiration issues, and Jiwakad secures 2 spots. The government has issued an emergency directive to Puma to continue to supply fuel in the country. Prime Minister James Marpe, in a press conference today, clarified that the cabinet issued the directives using the provisions under the Essential Services Act that gives them courage to make certain directions and recommendations to those in the fuel sector and the banking sector.
The government has recommended the head of state to issue an emergency declaration to the Minister for Petroleum and Energy to issue requisition and direct Puma to continue with the fuel supply in the country. Prime Minister James Marpe, in a media conference this afternoon, says it is a concern that has emerged lately which affects the essential services around the country in terms of fuel supply. The Prime Minister says these essential services defined as electricity, water, sewage, postal services, civil aviation, radio, television services, health services, transport services, telecommunication and access to ports and harbors, as well as other essential services, remain uninterrupted or disclosed while the supply of the service is not diminished.
Minister for Petroleum and Energy to issue requisition and direct Puma to continue on the fuel supply in all areas of fuel needs, especially in the space of the air transportations. Air transportations, we had a subsidiary arrangements where Puma and subsidiary company are the only two ones with the capacity to deliver to our airlines right now in terms of the aviation fuels. And so this instructions covers them, that Puma and PIL and every other who work in the airline space are directed to continue on taking in fuel and to supply fuel to our airline industry, and they are not affected.
The Cabinet has also recommended to the head of state to authorize the requisition and use of Napa Napa refinery and related infrastructure belonging to Puma companies for and in connection with fuel storage and supply, so that petroleum products are continuously brought into this facility for redistribution into the transport sector, so that the services are not sabotaged.
Also task all necessary agencies of state, the National Energy Authority, the Office of State Solicitor, Department of Petroleum, Department of Treasury, Department of Lands and Fiscal Planning, Kumul Consolidated Holdings Limited, Kumul Petroleum Holdings Limited, and other relevant agencies to work together to ensure that fuel, the immediate needs of fuel is maintained. In this instance, liaison with Puma as the fuel supplier, and our liaison with other fuel suppliers, ExxonMobil and Total, is maintained so that we don't compromise fuel supply in our country.
The Prime Minister also indicated that in the medium term, through this, the government will enact laws when Parliament resumes in May that will reduce the monopoly of fuel supply and will open up the market in the country.
We find an alternate legal pathway to ensure we're not restricted to only one supplier, but we have ability to also import fuel elsewhere. And working with Kumul Petroleum as the nation's energy company, we're looking to also diversify and import fuels elsewhere, especially in the aviation fuel sector.
Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
The government has initiated 2 major intervention programs to address the declining exploration activities over the last 5 years and the potential closure of all major mines by mid-2060. The government, through the Mineral Resource Authority, will now invest in new exploration data as infills and research for new mineral deposits in new frontiers. New Mining Minister Muga Dowo announced this today in a media conference in Port Moresby.
The extractive industry has always accounted for more than 80% of the total export revenue of PNG. However, it is worth noting that the potential end of mine life for many existing projects in the country for gold mines is by 2053 and copper mines by 2065. This means the government needs new exploration data to attract new investors to develop new projects beyond 2060 for gold and 2065 for copper respectively. And Managing Director of MRA, Jerry Gary, is concerned that PNG has no new project identified to sustain the mining sector of the country beyond 2065.
So we have to start investing in finding the next generation of wealth to sustain the mining industry in the country. That is very critical. So from the Mineral Resources Authority, we know that there are deep-seated bodies. How do we find those bodies?
MRA has taken steps to address this gap and invested in seismic reflection technology to help collect data fast.
We believe that if we run this on some of these areas with promising deep-seated bodies, we may be able to detect the structures and also give us the confidence to drill with precision.
The government, through the Ministry of Mining, is also looking at legislative reforms to address this growing concern.
2 years, as we know, you cannot sufficiently implement many of your work programs. So you continue to start all over again by applying through the process required under the Mining Act. So what we can do is we extend mine exploration list from 2 years to 5 years. But at the end of the second or third year, you can the MRA will reassess whether you have achieved your work plan or not.
Minister Dowo added that the government is also looking seriously into alluvial mining and will also implement legislative changes to empower alluvial miners.
These are new clauses that we will include so that the Mining Act is very comprehensive, from exploration all the way to mine development, all the way to downstream processing, and also extends to alluvial mining.
MD Gary says alluvial mining alone produces 100,000 ounces of gold per year, which is equivalent to smaller mines like Simberi and K92, and the state is determined to support this operation to increase the output. Meantime, immediate legislative reforms that need to be made in the next session of Parliament are the amendment of a section of the Mining Safety Act to include female mine workers to work in underground mines and the extension of the exploration license from 2 years to 5 years. Ruth Rungula, TV1 News.
The National Executive Council has extended the appointment of Jerry Gary as the Managing Director of MRA for another 4 years on a permanent basis. Mining Minister Muga Dowo says this is to bring stability to this important state institution.
Yes, congratulations on your reappointment for a 4-year term. We thank the wisdom of the NEC to appoint you for a full term. Given many of the major impact projects that we have in the country, that we need stability in the organization that must deliver those projects and meet the expectations of the industry as well as the government. So my congratulations are in order for you.
A ceremonial occasion today witnessed the formal exchange of leadership between the outgoing and incoming commanding officers of the 1st Royal Pacific Islands Regiment. Tarama Barracks, Port Moresby, outgoing commanding officer Lieutenant Colonel Heta Nombe handed over the command sword to the IRPIR's 37th commanding officer and area commander Lieutenant Colonel Ezron de Kaitavar.
This morning, the 1st Royal Pacific Islands Regiment held a handover takeover parade to farewell the 1RPIR's outgoing commanding officer and area commander, Lieutenant Colonel Heta Nombe. Lieutenant Colonel Heta Nombe, in a significant exchange of the command sword, signified the passing of leadership from himself to the 37th incoming CO and area commander, Lieutenant Colonel Ajon Dekai Tavara. In his final address to the men and women of the regiment, Nombe expressed his gratitude and his pride in the people he has led since taking office in 2021. Nombe acknowledged former Chief of PNGDF Major General Gilbert Toropo for his appointment and extended his appreciation to currently suspended CDF Major General Mark Goina. Nombe will now move on to take up his new posting as a director at the PNGDF headquarters in Marpe.
I want to thank you all on behalf of my wife Larissa and our children from the bottom of our hearts. To you, my brother, incoming CEO, Lieutenant Colonel Daka Tawara. Your years of service in various capacities has set you up for this challenge. It is a privilege to be appointed CEO of the 1st Battalion. Your years of service has positioned you to this post. Be strong in every aspect. In difficult times, your troops depend on you. Be visible, dominate, align your command team.
Acting Chief of Defense Commodore Philip Polewara was represented at the parade by Colonel Craig Solomon, the Chief of Force Preparation. Solomon congratulated both Lieutenant Colonels on their respective appointments.
The 1st Battalion, as we all know, has a lot of history and a very long one. A lot of fine men have served in this unit. Only a few are chosen to lead and command this prestigious unit, which is the 1st Battalion of the Royal Pacific Islands Regiment. Lieutenant Colonel Dakai Tavara, you are one of those selected few. I want you to know that unit commanders are held to high standards of personal and professional conduct, both on and off duty.
The incoming CO is from Teop Island in the autonomous region of Bougainville and is a graduate of the Waiouru Cadet School of New Zealand. Throughout his 25 years of service, Dekai Tavara has served in various appointments within the force.
Lieutenant Colonel Nombe has done many great things that will challenge me and my staff as I take on this opportunity to lead the unit. I thank you, the Defense Council and senior officers in headquarters for this opportunity and privilege to command the premier unit of the Papua Defense Force.
The event was witnessed by servicemen and women, school children, immediate families and friends of the outgoing and incoming COs together with the head of the Australian Defence Staff in PNG, PNGDF branch heads and directors and other POM-based units personnel. Maricela Kelaton, TVWAN News.
The opposition today has announced through a press conference that they will not challenge the status of the vote of no confidence in court. Rather, they stand by the position that the integrity of notice of motive that they have filed is intact and uphold that integrity to stand by it following the right process of the Constitution. Speaking on behalf of the opposition, member for Hirikoyari Keith Iduhu said the opposition is expecting Parliament to put the motion on the notice paper come the next Parliament sitting on May the 28th, 2024. Iduhu said failure to do so will result in legal action.
I received a letter formally advising us of the status of the motion, and in that letter the acting speaker was clear and advised that there was a discrepancy or discrepancies. And so on legal advice we have opted to not challenge that stance, but stand by the position that the integrity of the notice of motion that we had filed is intact. We will uphold the integrity of that notice of motion and stand by it because that is the process the Constitution allows for.
This is TVWAN News. When we return, petition against Maneke dismissed and float planes for Western Province.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSP Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSP branch today to register now for BSP Mobile Banking. BSP Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Laga, Bungimyumi.
Open Nets.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Prime PNG made.
Quick favorite meal for the day does feel good. Snacks noodles is my choice for a simple meal. It is easy to prepare and fast to cook. And with a touch of flavor and ingredients, quality noodles that can be cooked and enjoyed in many different ways. You see, my whole family loves it. It's made here in PNG and comes in different pack sizes. Snacks noodles, tastier but you like it more.
Superstition ain't the way.
You're a nice boss and a loyal husband to your wife. If Ma'am Claire does not see that, it's her loss.
I'm impressed.
It's that girl.
Why the hell are you giving coffee to my husband? Get out! I'm not done with this woman yet.
You wouldn't want to cross me. And I'm telling you right now, you haven't seen anything yet.
Welcome back. The National Court in Kimbe has dismissed the election petition challenging the win of Francis Maneke as member-elect for the Nakanai district. Justice Colin McHale on Wednesday dismissed the election petition filed by Francis Marus following a successful no-case submission filed by lawyer representing Maneke.
Election petitioner Francis Marus filed the petition against incumbent MP for Nakanai Francis Galia Maneke on 11 grounds of bribery during the election period in 2022. Maneke's lawyer Stephen Raneva argued in his no-case submission that the petitioner failed to establish the elements of the offense of bribery in the petition and it has to be dismissed. Justice McHale upheld Maneke's submission and dismissed the 11 bribery allegations filed against him. He further ordered the petition to be dismissed. Maneke, after the court thanked its supporters from both sides for not creating disturbance during the court process. He welcomed the court's decision as it will ensure he concentrates on building and growing the new Nakanai district.
We like ask him to support blah. So make him so that you make him place lo me look good. Lanti problem me stop. Or this lakan or program me come up and me affect him or suppress him legally. That's all important that you take him from now that we are free. We must make him so that we work in something where me appropriate. Lo government blow me, la economy blow me, lo district blow me, la lo province blow me too.
Marus also thanked the supporters and committed to working with Maneke going forward.
You make a new blood district. You be responsible long straighten this new blood district blow you. Now number two, you make the economy blow you me lo country. Commodity where important lo this la country and stop long here. So me am muscle them this la petition now come stop and premium me now so that you can be able to deliver it when they more appropriate for people blow you.
Maneke is the first MP for the newly established district for Nakanai. He is also the first minister for oil palm and has been spearheading developments and growth in the industry. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
Mission Aviation Fellowship surveyed potential landing sites for a plane to improve healthcare for isolated communities in PNG's Western Province. MAF is in the first stages of planning for its floatplane project. With the many vast and wide rivers running through Papua New Guinea's Western Province, accessing vital services through road can be difficult. With taking this into consideration, the Mission Aviation Fellowship are on their first stages of planning for their first floatplane project. According to MAF, preparations are currently underway to bring a floatplane to PNG to bring health patrols into the wetland areas for Western Province. Numerous areas were visited in the province, including along Lake Murray, the Fly River, several supporting lagoons, and more to investigate possible landing sites. MAF advised that there are 6 villages to be considered as start locations on Lake Murray, Lake Hoover, and Canada Lake. As the team gains more operational experience, MAF plans to increase the number of landing sites on lakes and lagoons. River landing sites may also be introduced after a period. After floatplanes arrive, health workers will now be able to access the wetlands without land-based airstrips and those strips that experience seasonally poor conditions. While MAF's Ballymore base currently serves about 50 airstrips across Western Province, there are further opportunities to reach even more isolated communities, particularly during wet season. Adding a floatplane to MAF's fleet will allow MAF to better support those living isolated along the lakes, rivers, and lagoons of Western Province. The PNG Teachers Association stands ready to conduct its election this year. The writs will be issued on March the 21st and close on April the 25th, 2024.
Over 10,000 teachers, whom are members of the PNG Teachers Association in the 22 provinces of Papua New Guinea, will now have the right to choose members to represent them through the upcoming election when the writs are issued on March 21, 2024. President of the PNG TA Aita Sangakepe encourages teachers to vote without fear or favor and choose the executives they think will serve them.
PNG election is your right to choose a leader whom you want. That's why I thank General Secretary and also of the Industry Registrar and the Electoral Commission who appointed returning officer. This election is going to be different. No corruption, no manipulation.
Sangakepe said after the writs are issued, ballot papers will be sent out to the provinces for teachers to vote for their members of choice.
All the teachers, if you got your postal address, then you have to immediately contact the General Secretary or the numbers mentioned so that the ballot papers can be sent through you people so that you yourself mark him whom you want to lead you in the nation.
He said the election will be conducted by the current members of PNG with the Electoral Commission following the right legal process of the election. Tracy Pa, TV1 News.
The 2024 budget for Gulf Province is believed to be better and bigger than before, says Governor Sir Chris Haiveta. Gulf is least developed. However, with the 2024 boost in the budget compared to previous years, the province is likely to see a new pathway in developing its infrastructure in both Kikori and Kerema districts. The money plan, which is over 400 million kina, sets priority on new and old projects, especially centered on road infrastructures, school and public health. Governor Haiveta met with the Gulf Provincial Assembly members in Kerema town on Wednesday, the 28th of February, to pass the budget. The governor applauded the national government for giving the biggest budget in the history of the Gulf provincial government. Meantime, the province will also focus on the national local level government elections in June. It will be an active challenge for the current presidents in the LLGs. And now the finance news. The kina closed 1 point lower at $0.2660 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying $0.2585 US, $0.3954 Australian dollars, $0.2309 euro, and 38.62 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, copper, crude oil, and copper closed higher, while coffee, cocoa, and palm oil closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, ASX closed higher, and all ordinaries closed higher as well. You're watching TV1 News. We'll have news from abroad when we come back. Stay tuned.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
Hiya, Mama. You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magic kakaru, get up and big smile on face. Time for kim chicken, a great kumutu. Sip, sip, da mumu, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
More clean, more sweet. Flame natural white sugar. Make more.
Starting this scale yard want a chancellor win him scaled school money blow all pickinini. Scale rise he give him 200 chancellor win him 1,000 kina scaled school money. Buy him any scale or scale or rice product, write his full name na mobile number lo backside lo receipt, na put him inside lo entry box inside lo store. He got promotion term na condition too.
Skull Rise,
the brain changer.
Hardware House is more than just a store. It is where quality meets affordability, where culture is proudly celebrated. Spanning 9 provinces, we pride ourselves in offering top-notch customer support and services. We're more than just a store. We're more than a brand. We are Hardware House.
Thanks for staying with us. Tuvalu's new government has dealt a blow to Australia's signature foreign policy initiative in the Pacific, signaling it will seek revisions to the landmark Falepili Union to protect its sovereignty. Australian officials were relieved when former regional diplomat Feleti Teo, who was on a panel that helped craft the agreement, won the contest to become Prime Minister earlier this week. But in a sign of the political sensitivities that still surround the pact, Mr. Teo's new government has Wednesday acknowledged that Tuvalu's citizens were not sufficiently consulted on the agreement. A document outlining the new government's key priorities makes it clear that Tuvalu will broadly support the pact, will seek changes to make it workable. The Australian federal government is phasing out cheques by the end of the decade, but some banks are making the move ahead of that, with one stopping processing cheques this week.
Pensioner Michael Coogan uses cheques to pay his rent.
We don't do any banking online because we're not familiar enough with computers. Computers don't figure largely in our lives.
Banks say cheques are costly to process, even more so as fewer people use them. It's a cost that'll shift now to Mr. Coogan when his bank stops issuing cheques this week, and he'll have to begin paying a fee to pay rent.
Every cent counts. And to all those 33-year-olds and 34-year-olds out there, one day you will be 43 and 53 and 63, and you'll discover that your income shrinks.
National Seniors Australia fear vulnerable people will be left behind as banking goes digital.
So the banks have got to really just make sure that, as a system, that they are providing support to the entire community, not just the cohort that have mortgages.
The use of cheques has dropped 90% in the past decade, now making up less than 1% of all transactions. The federal government admits phasing out cheques will affect older and lower income Australians, but has promised an inclusive, gradual shift. Tenants Queensland is worried the end of cheques will push more people onto fee-charging third-party platforms.
In effect, the agents are subcontracting their rent collection requirements and also cost shifting onto the tenant. It just makes sense that you shouldn't be charged for paying your rent.
The Australian Banking Association says its members are supporting customers to transition to easier, more accessible ways to pay.
I'm not comfortable with it. I know by the number of cheques other people aren't comfortable with it.
But they'll soon have to get used to it.
The number of young Japanese people trying to move to Australia on a working holiday visa has surged since the pandemic.
The streets of Tokyo, but Japan is technically in a recession, and it's lost its place as the third largest economy, slipping to fourth behind Germany. This isn't some sudden slump. The economy here has been sluggish for decades. Now young people are looking for opportunities elsewhere. Shoma Tarika posts videos to YouTube showing how successful his working holiday in Australia has been. After arriving in 2019, he saved over $200,000 and got his dad in Japan a new car. He says he's earning double what he had earned back home. His mission now is to help others looking at making the move.
It is definitely easier to work in Australia. The hours are less than in Japan and the pay is much higher in my case, so it's much easier mentally.
To try and keep the economy chugging along, interest rates here have been kept super low. But now the local currency, the yen, has dropped against other major currencies, so things are getting more and more expensive, and wages, which have long been flat, just aren't keeping up.
I feel the cost of food is going up. I'm shocked how much the power and gas bills cost lately.
I'd like to give more and more back to my employees. However, in reality, while the costs of goods and expenses are rising, it's impossible.
And to top it all off, Japan has the oldest population on the planet, meaning more retirees on pension, less workers paying tax, and a less productive economy. Migration or the low birth rate isn't filling the gap.
It's very hard for Japanese economy to gain the momentum ahead, I think.
Despite the economic gloom, major Japanese firms are posting super profits and the stock market is back at all-time highs. What many workers here are waiting for is a taste of that success.
And that ends the main segment. Over to you, Maricela.
Thanks, Jasmine. In sports, we have SP Sports Awards 2024 launched and Women's Sevens team off to next challenger.
Beauty is my business, but beauty sure is a tough game. Filters are great, but great skin, better. And that's why my skin deserves the best. So I choose self-care, soaps that gently nourish my skin, resulting in a radiant look, made with tropical ingredients. I trust self-care from City Pharmacy, so bring it on! My skin is ready and so am I.
It's on again. It's back to school with Colgate and Protex. 100,000 kina worth of prizes to be won with laptops, tablets and 250 kina shopping vouchers. Simply purchase 2 or more Colgate and Protex branded products, write your name and contact details on the back of the receipt, drop it in the entry bin in participating stores for a chance to win. Promotion begins 1st February and ends 31st March 2024. Hurry! Go to your nearest participating store now and purchase Colgate and Protex products to win. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, I'm Chef Jules Hennow, and this is where my true inspiration for cooking started. Like most of us, I learned to cook from my mum. Nothing beats simple recipes where fresh local produce is at the heart, especially when it's a home-cooked meal, prepared and shared with the ones you love. And in PNG, no meal is complete without rice. And my choice is always True Guy. True Guy, true inspiration through generations.
Want more data for less? Get it now with Digicel's revamped Red Club. Enjoy data bundles from as low as 1 kilo per gigabyte. Plus rollover data, the widest coverage, fastest speeds, and best reliability. Only with Red Club. Join Digicel's exclusive Red Club today and get loads more data for less. Yes! Data bundles from as low as 1 kilo per gigabyte. Whoa! Join today for as low as 10 kilo weekly to access discounted data bundles and get more data for less. Dial *675# or visit the My Digicel app today. The Red Club. Only with Digicel.
Olmangi, skellim. Yo, you know can think the walk na school tasol. Remember you sort of kaya na hungry. Got it in big sounding straight. Run it. Back
to my roots. Go get the bag. Moving in formal. Coming up fast. Back to my roots. Go get the bag. Moving in formal. Coming up fast.
I'll be the jack of all trades and master of none. Cause times is hard.
This season, the Bunce family are taking the ultimate risk.
There's no investors, there's no third party.
We're paying for it ourselves.
We have to find some good trade.
The stakes are high, and every decision is their own.
Time and money is everything. That's how important it is.
Hit it!
Rush, move. It's all or nothing.
If we don't mine this year, we have no next year.
Jade Fever, streaming now on Outdoor.
Are we ready? You blow up news. Devil cuts news.
Turn it up.
Birds of Prey premieres Saturday 9 p.m. on Lunar TV.
Thanks for staying with us. The 2024 SP Sports Awards was launched today in Port Moresby as nominations open. The theme for this year's SP Sports Awards is Discipline Starts With You.
The 2024 SP Sports Awards nomination is open for 11 categories. The SP Sports Awards recognizes sports people and their contributions to sports. The nomination is open for anyone in those 11 categories, and anyone can nominate. The candidates that are nominated must fulfill the requirement.
We have 11 categories to nominate from, which includes Male Athlete of the Year, Female Athlete of the Year, Team of the Year, National Performance of the Year, Para-Athlete of the Year, Community Sports Initiative of the Year, Junior Female Athlete of the Year, as well as Junior Male Athlete of the Year, Sports Official of the Year, Sports Media of the Year, and Sports Photo of the Year. And finally, we have the People's Choice of the Year.
One of the important categories overlooked for recognition was the Coach of the Year award. Being a former head coach to a national team and having won the award before, Peter Aglua raised concerns as to why this award was not included.
Today on the SP Awards sports list of categories, I'm disappointed not to see a standalone awards for Male Coach of the Year and Female Coach of the Year. I'm sure the national federations will agree with me. We need to recognize these people. It is the coaches. We decide the gold, the silver, the bronze. Athletes can withdraw talent. We engineer in it.
Theme of the 2024 SP Sports Awards is Discipline Starts With You, derived from a quote from India's founding father Mahatma Gandhi. The theme is chosen in the hope of advocating for the rising social problems in the country.
Given what's happened recently, I think PNG needs to keep the drumbeat. Look, there's so much violence out there, and we as an organization, I think it's incumbent on us to spread that positive message of having a violence-free country, and especially around the sporting fraternity.
The nomination will be done online, so the voting, with the exception to rural participants, to done in manually. All nominations are to be done before April 19th, 2024. The awards will be held on Saturday, 10th June 2024. It will be a sit-down event and will be live-streamed on social media. Rex Litter, TVWAN Sports.
The Jawakins' never say die attitude has secured them 2 spots in the 2024 Grand Final of the National Gaming Control Board Ipatas Cup. Kulaka West and Kindang Storms are fairly new in the competition, but are determined to make history during the game day this weekend at the Lay Rugby League Oval.
The 2024 National Gaming Control Board Ipatas Cup Grand Final is set to be hosted at the Lay Rugby League Oval on Saturday, the 2nd of March, and Sunday, the 3rd of March. The captains of the top 4 teams were present today at Lay League. Home Saints from Western Highlands, from Panthers from Enga, and the 2 newbies from Jiwaka, Kulaka West and Kindang Storm. Kulaka West captain Dowo thanked their sponsors for allowing them to showcase their skills and hopefully advance to the next tier in rugby league.
Kulawes la nubla team la phone lo Joaga and been Burgaud lo Northern Pride and nubla team na blagam that family. Thank you. Lo sponsors lo me. All helping one or the other. Some minor sponsors too. Helping current team promotion. Do nubla Joaga challenge nubla play. Nubla nubla no kam lo ball pass nubla lo Messi pass. Nubla kam that fam nubla down low. Eastern challenge nubla kam nubla. Sawas nubla lo Messi pass nubla strong mate nubla kam play strong play hard. Nubla enjoy game lo weekend. Made the best team by win.
Another strong Jiwaka team, Kindang Storm, also proved to be the best out of the 16 teams that took part in the competition. Their captain, Scott Francis, emphasized that the lack of experience and sponsors did nothing to down their spirits.
Kindang Storm, nubla team in Jiwaka, nubla kam no got plenty experience playing this time the team. The team made up of all the raw talent, the players, and Blackham. We know what the sponsors and stuff, but to Blackham. Our family, the legal staff, was out in Blana, making Blackham that farm. We don't think you'll set our family to lay. I will stop never in South in Blackham this far. Quantum of boys, 2 weeks preparation, Blackham. me one mistake we previous team play policy map no ready. One little mistake we looking we no na policy map no prepare the games like game na umbrella carving go begin to joga.
On Saturday, Prum Panthers will take on Kulaka West at 1:30 p.m. Game 2 will see Kindang Storm test the strength of the defending champions, Homeland Saints. The winners of Saturday's match will fight for the coveted Ipatas Cup title on Sunday. Rex Lita, TVWAN Sports.
Rugby Sevens is one of the 7 sporting codes that PNG athletes will compete in at the 2024 Paris Olympics, apart from athletics, boxing, taekwondo, breakdancing, swimming and weightlifting. The PNG Women's 7 team left for Uruguay yesterday, Wednesday 28 February, ahead of the second round of World Rugby HSBC Sevens Challenger in Montevideo from 8 to 10 March this year.
As the World Sevens Challenger rolls on, the competition gets tougher for the PNG national women's team, drawn against Belgium and losing finalists in Dubai, Kenya and Hong Kong in Pool A. The team is now on their way to Uruguay with a lot at stake as they look forward for a bit of silver lining. The Challenger competition provides a clear promotion pathway to reach the pinnacle of HSBC SVNS in 2025, with the top 4 placed men and women from 2024 Challenger securing their opportunity to compete in the next higher stakes relegations playoff competition at the SVNS Grand Finals in Madrid on 31 May to June 2, 2024 against the teams ranked 9th and 12th for the HSBC SVNS 2024. The PNG Women's Sevens team, comprising 12 players, coach and team management, flew off to Brisbane yesterday, where they'll stay for 2 days before continuing the 5-day journey to Montevideo, Uruguay via Dubai. Before their departure, the national women's team attended the launch of the Pacific All Sports Paris 2024 and Paris Olympic Partnership Program organized by the Australian High Commission and the PNG Olympic Committee. Captain Mary Biama said it's been a tough few months for the girls after their silver medal triumph at the Honiara Games in November. However, she believes there's great trust and belief within the group as they look forward to their next challenge. 3 debutants are also coming on board in Vanessa Nakas, Aminta Levy and Bobby Michael.
Most of us, to the old ones, we're not that excited because of what's happening in the background, but it won't push us back. But to the 3 debutants, they're very excited. I am totally prepared. It's not a big heavy on my shoulders because I have my girls who are helping me out, my coaches, my management, yeah. So I'm very thankful for everyone who is behind me.
From their last series challenge in Dubai, Marie highlighted several key areas in their game that they have been able to address, mainly communication and depth in their game structure and execution. The skipper added they have a tough pool and need to be on top of their game.
So we managed to fix that and we look forward to the games in Uruguay. So our focus now is the depth and communication.
The next Challenger Series destination is Poland in May. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Fiji Airways men's team is currently 3rd in the World Sevens Series, standing after the completion of the Vancouver Sevens last weekend. This is after the Bengalians coach side finished 6th overall in the men's division. Meanwhile, Argentina extended its lead at the top of the Sevens Series with 78 points, with Ireland in the second spot on 54 points. Fiji also has 54 points, followed by New Zealand in 4th with 50 points, followed by Australia, South Africa, France and the USA respectively. In the women's category, the Fijiana is currently in the 7th spot with 40 points. Australia is at the top of the table with 72 points, followed by New Zealand, France, USA, Canada and Ireland. Both teams are now preparing for the Los Angeles, which starts this Saturday. The 2024 Paris Olympic Games-bound PNG champion boxer John Ume is 100% ready to put his best fist forward when he steps into the ring in May for his final qualifier in Thailand following his last international bout in Italy last year. The Tokyo Olympian has been hard at training and is in good nick for another crack at the Paris Olympics come July.
Ume's most recent international bout was against Australian star boxer Eric Garside in the Solomon Islands in November last year, where he fell short of making the semi-final. He admitted it was against the best, but a good heads-up for him. Spending some quality downtime with family over the past week has allowed Ume to recuperate, refocus, and keep his eyes on the prize. With his last qualifying event coming up in May ahead of the Paris Olympics, Ume is in good shape physically, mentally and spiritually to make a big statement when he steps into the ring against his Thailand opponent. Ume was going to accompany fellow PNG boxer Alan Oika to Sydney for next month's annual King of the Ring event. However, he decided to pull out for some reason. King of the Ring is the biggest event on the New South Wales boxing calendar, scheduled for the 7th to the 10th of March 2024. Ume is also eyeing other lead-up events before Thailand. Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
And that's all we have in sports. Back to you, Jasmine.
Thank you, Maricela. And now the weather forecast for regional. For regional, southern, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Port Moresby, partly cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorm. Momase, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms with areas of rain. Lae, partly cloudy with some showers possible. New Guinea Islands, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Kavieng and Kimbe, partly cloudy with few showers. Islands, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms with some areas of patchy rain. Goroka, Bans, Kundiawa, Mendi, Tari and Wabeg, partly cloudy and few showers with possible thunderstorm. Ocean forecast, Coral Sea, sea smooth to slight with southeast winds of 5 to 15 knots. Coastal waters forecast, waters of southern PNG Indonesian border to Daru to Kiwa Islands, Keramat, Yule Island, Hood Point, to Samar Island to Cape Vogel and all Millie Bay Islands. Sea 0.5 to 1.3 meters. And that ends the news tonight. Thanks for watching. Bye now.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.